mentioned that in my last video I realized that I was speaking pretty quietly, so in this one I'm trying to speak louder so that way you guys can hear me better. With that said, let's just get right into it. First thing I didn't show you guys is that it's actually on stilts. What I mean by that is it's supported by four main pillars. There's two right here, and there's actually two in the back, so that makes four pillars total, right? And to really understand the fun architecture behind it, you gotta understand some of the engineering stuff. So, let me just start with how did I build this in the first place, right? So I started by making those four main pillars or towers, whatever you want to call them, and then I started by making this. This was the first thing I made, and whatever I'm explaining here, I just copied four times on each side, right? So in my last video, I explained how I did bridges where I overlap them together, right? But imagine a bridge, what I did last time, but instead of going straight, it's curved, right? And if I have two that's curved and they meet in the middle, and then I copy that four times on each side, and then I have a giant ring. And then what I do is I continue the bridge. This is the same pattern, the same overlapping brick pattern as the bridge where it goes here, here, here. Well, what I mean by that is it goes zigzag, right? It's kind of like a brick pattern, right? And, well, what I'm trying to say is that the bridge pattern I have at the bottom is just continued up, but it just gets smaller and smaller the more you go up, until eventually you reach the top where I just added some fun, fancy architecture to, jazz it up. One thing you might notice from looking down on the tower is these little holes, right? So what happens is that if I have a ring of planks, right, I overlap them but a little inwards, so that way it gets slowly smaller the higher you go up. But the thing is that if you go in too much, right, then the dominoes don't have enough space because you're going to have so much space. And so what I do is I take one out and then continue it with overlapping, because notice here there's one missing, right? So normally there would be one here, but because the ring got so small, I added one on top because now there's that much more space for it to shrink again, which is why you see more of those gaps at the top, right? Because from the beginning, it's kind of like an exponential curve. Where at the beginning, it's really slow and gets faster and faster and faster, curving inwards. Ooh, that was a lot. I hope you guys understood that. Let me switch the viewpoint so you can see under the dome. It's a really cool camera angle, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Hello, and welcome to Under the Dome. Isn't this cool? I think this camera angle looks so cool. You can see all the little dominoes being woven together. Um, anyways, what I wanted to say is that the idea I mentioned earlier, that as you get higher up in the tower, it is more sparsely connected with bricks, and it gets more and more connected. Well, not connected, but it's kind of hard to describe. It's like this. It's kind of like an exponential curve where it gets slowly more and more together, right? And you can see that it's more tightly woven together here, and then it gets sparser and sparser. More, you can visually see all the little pokes of light coming out. Yeah. I also wanted to mention that this just highlights just the pure scale of this. Like, I had a hard time fitting this all on my backdrop. So, that's really cool. You can also see all four, if I move the camera, you can see two right there and two right there. You can see all four towers. It's just the same thing duplicated on all four sides. So, it might be kind of hard to notice in the video, but I actually had a really hard time with symmetry, because if you look from the outside, because I noticed that it was getting more, the symmetry was getting off, I decided to make it more in the back so you couldn't see it from the video, but it is actually not symmetrical. Well, I tried to make it symmetrical, but it ended up not entirely being. It's kind of more shifted towards the front. but you can't really see it on camera, so I'm happy with it. Was I was thinking about doing like a part 2 where I like destroy it in slow motion. I think that would be a cool idea. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and see you in the next one.